Okay, so Bismillah. So through these books that we study, through the Seerah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which I believe it is fundamental to be studied. If you do not study the Seerah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, I don't think you can actually handle the challenges of today's world. Why? Because the Quran is in Seerah, the fiqh is in Seerah, hadith is in Seerah, the Aqidah is in Seerah. Everything is in Seerah contextualized. So when we're studying this book, which is Seerah actually, the book Women Around the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, this is a book of Seerah. You have to understand. And when we reach such events where we're now starting to understand, contextualize some of these hadith that some people take out of context. They try to make the Prophet ﷺ something that he is not. Both enemies of Islam as well as people trying to distort Islam or trying to appease the non-Muslims and the liberals. Both of them are equally guilty because they're distorting the message of Islam. The Prophet ﷺ, his life was recorded in detail. And that's why I believe Surah Tahrim is so important. Now, it'll be fine and nice to have only sugar and spice and everything that's nice in our life. But in reality, that is not how it is. And some conversations are more difficult than others, especially when it comes to women. That's why we studied this book, Women Around the Messenger, because we live in a time where, yes, someone has to do a documentary asking the question, what is a woman? And going to academicians, and different experts, and they cannot get a straight answer. They can't get a straight answer. What is a woman? These are the confusing times that we're living in. And by the way, that's just the way the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So the Muslims are also affected because we live in these countries. Our sisters are affected because they don't understand what a woman is, what a Muslim woman is, and how a Muslim woman should behave. Not just that, they do not understand how the Prophet ﷺ taught women and what he expected from women and how he dealt with women, and that he was the best man, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, that was created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in doing so, being the best man, he knows best from Allah. So if a woman has to submit to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and to the rulings of Allah. And I know that they don't like this and they get triggered, but in reality, the Prophet ﷺ put men in charge of women. الرِّجَالُ قَوَّمُونَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ. It's always be like that. So for example, a woman is born, who's in charge of her? Well, it's a father. Okay, yes, the mother nurtures. The mother has a big role. But who is the one who's really responsible for the money, for the feeding, for everything? Look at the Quran. There's the Quran. Even if there's a divorce, the father has to pay the mother and has to sustain her giving milk to the baby. The father is responsible. Okay, the girl grows up. She's 15, 16, 17, 18. Who is responsible for food? Well, there's the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, for a man who raises 3 daughters, that he'll get and he educates them, teaches them, and protects them, and then he gets Jannah. Who? The Prophet ﷺ said the man. That's because it's difficult. Then what happens? Here comes a suitor. Here comes Ahmed, and he's a suitor. And he comes and he proposes. Who does he propose to? Well, guess what? He has to go to the father, through the wali, through the man. Okay, the father's not there. Who becomes the wali? The mother? Nope. Nope. Who knows who becomes the father? The wali, sorry. Well, there's some difference, but basically it will be the uncle of the father, meaning the brother of her father, if the father sees, or it goes to the grandfather, or it goes to the brother if she has a brother who is now of age. It never goes to the mother. It never goes. I'm sorry, I know people get triggered and whatnot, but in reality it needs to go back to the father. People don't like it. They want to scream. They want to jump up and down. They want to get upset. You cannot change the deen. وَلَا تَجِدُوا لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَبْدِيلًا. You will not find the sunnah of Allah, al-ayah, you'll not find in the sunnah of Allah some change. It just won't happen, guys. So, The guy comes and proposes to the father. Of course, the woman has to accept 100%. I know the hadith, and the silence of a virgin means that she agrees. We know. A woman has to accept, of course, no doubt. Bottom line is, though, the father is there. He is the one that has to be there for the nikah. He is the one that has to be there, okay, especially for a woman who has been raised by him, a virgin, a young woman, and so on. Now the guy marries her through nikah. He takes the responsibility, and now he basically is her wali. He is her mahram. He is her qawwam. So that has been transferred from a man to a man. There's no such thing as like women being independent and having this thing and that thing and I don't know, doing their own thing. I know people hate it, but it doesn't work like that. And this is clear in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet. Now the question will be why? Because women were just not created like that to be able to withstand that. They're just being created for a specific purpose by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a great purpose. It's a beautiful purpose. It is one of the most honorable purposes in this life, 100%. The problem is that the world has convinced you, sisters, that it is horrible, that you should be like men, that you're missing out on something because you're not doing what men are doing. You're not doing how men are doing. And because of this, you are suffering. And you should be depressed and anxious and fight with a man and pay them back in terms of if they've done something and compete and be more manly than them. And in doing so, society, and purposefully they've done so, convinced women to that and destroyed them, corrupted their fitrah to the point that now we are at odds with each other. Men and women are at odds with each other, always fighting. Who's right? Who's wrong? Who's this? Who's that? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already cleared it. Who's the leader? No, women. Today I posted something. Women were just really, really triggered because we just told them, honor yourself, protect yourself, don't prioritize going to university and this and that over marriage and over family. Because one of the 19-year-old sisters messaged us that she's 5 months pregnant because she's gone to university away from her family. Her family trusted her, got with a guy, became pregnant. Now the guy disappeared. He disappeared, blocked her and everything, and now she's left alone. So this is something that people need to understand is realistic. It's not just an exception. When Allah has put some rules, Allah has put some boundaries, there's a reason why women wear hijab and not men. There's a reason why women have to wear abaya and cover their bodies and their shapes and not men the same way that women do. There's a reason why women, should not leave the house without the permission of the wali. There's a reason why women shouldn't travel without the permission, and accompaniment, chaperone of a wali or a mahram. There's a reason why they need the permission to get married. There's a reason why men paid the mahar and not the women. There's a reason for all these things. There are reasons, my brothers and sisters, for all these things. Okay? But people are fighting. You're not fighting against men. I mean, this is my message today, I guess, to the sisters. And why we're studying this book, the Seerah book of the Prophet. And to be honest, there are certain things that I think we discussed last time. But it was good that he mentions Surah Al-Tahrim and Surah Al-Talaq as well. And the incident of Maria, the slave woman of the Prophet ﷺ. It's because it has so much wisdom in that event and what happened to settle so many controversies that people have and so many distortions of Islam that people have, and that some of the dawa, mafia dawa as we call it, have tried to abduct and side with the feminists. Really, it's important. But bottom line is, the message to the sisters is that you're only fighting against the Sunnah and the Quran. You're not fighting against me or against the brothers or against the man and this and that. I mean, maybe you think so, but in reality, you're fighting against the rules of Allah. The only thing is that because men were in charge with enforcing the rules of Allah, not women, sorry, it's just not the way it is, then therefore women now take it out on the men. And they'll use certain statements like, well, you are using Islam to fulfill your desires, or you are using Islam to show your masculinity or your manhood, or you're using Islam, the religious card to shame and religiously shame women. We're not using Islam. We're saying Qala Allah, Qala Rasul. It's not, we didn't make these things. Allah chose men to be the Khalifa. So Allah created Adam first. He didn't create Eve. You know that. Allah named Adam Khalifa, not Eve. Allah sent prophets, only men. There's no exception. There's some difference of opinion, very slight, but easily refuted. Only men. Only men prophets, only men messengers. Okay? We could have sent one woman at least, 2, 3, just to break the no, didn't. It's been men. Okay, move forward. Khalifas in the history of Islam. Name one woman who was a Khalifa. Never. It's always been Amirul Mu'mineen was only a man. Is this to just like rub it into women's faces and say, oh, look, look, look? No, it's just that this is how Allah made it. That's why Islam is submission. Yes, I know some people can use Islam to do many bad things, no doubt. They can use many things. They can use Buddhism to do many bad things. They can use, I don't know, whatever. People can use whatever they want in the end. Bottom line is that this is what Islam says. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to agree with it or not, it's submission. Meaning, it's not about what I think. It's not about what you think. It's not about what I don't know who thinks. It's about what Allah has said. When there's a rule and there's a clear thing, people should say, Sami'na ta'ana. The mushkila, or the problem, is that a lot of the dawa mafia, the people who have abducted a dawa online, they're trying to go with demand supply. There's a high demand for reformation. There's a high demand for gynocentric Islam, meaning everything catered towards women. Women are better than men. Women are this. Women should do that. Women should be free. Women should whatever. Women can choose everything. So there's this discourse that is very popular, and because women have purchasing power, and because they kind of run social media, they connect so well. A lot of the Dawah mafia has taken upon themselves to incline towards this liberal feminist ideology because it suits their algorithm and it suits their followers. And if you find those who preach this type of thing, this type of philosophy, they'll have millions of followers. At least most of them on average have over 1.5, 2 million followers. Okay, while the ones who say Qala Allah, Qala Rasul, with not picking and choosing, because yes, even these guys will say some Qala Allah, Qala Rasul, but they're picking and choosing. The ones who give you the blanket, the full thing, the full picture, will be always considered as strange and always as, they'll be ostracized, misogynist and whatnot. Bottom line is, again, the message to the sisters of the Ummah who are studying this book, who are looking at the Seerah of the Prophet. Look, not the Seerah through the eyes, not through mine, not through Shaykh so-and-so or Mufti so-and-so or Doctor so-and-so. You pick up a book, you do some research and try to get to the sources to really understand. Because I guarantee you, I'm telling you, it's been sanitized. What you see on YouTube a lot of times, it's been sanitized, it's been diluted. If you want to get to the organic, you need to do a bit of research. It's there, it's possible for everyone. You need to do a bit of research to really understand. If you really want to get to the bottom, it's because it's so tiring. Men fighting with women, women fighting with men. You post any post saying the Prophet said this and that. No, that's not how it is. Mufti so-and-so said it's different. Blah, blah, blah. How dare you? And she's all in makeup, no hijab, and this and that. Yeah, Allah will judge me. And this is not, this is not Musnad Tupac Shakur, right? This is the Musnad of Imam Ahmed. This is the Musnad of, Tabarani. This is the Musnad of the ulama. This is the deen. This is not, only God can judge me now. Okay? We're living in a big, very difficult time. We're at odds with each other. But actually, you're at odds with yourself. Because yes, men are weak. Yes, men have issues. Yes, men need to man up. But bottom line is, the male discourse that's being given is more in line with Islam than the female discourse. That's what's being given. And women need to understand that the attack is only on them. They're trying to hurt you. They're trying to destroy you. They're trying to make you change your fitrah. They're trying to destabilize you. Okay, and you're not seeing, you're falling for it. And that is why the Prophet warned the women. that when the Dajjal will come, then many of them will join him. Many of the women will join him, because naturally women have this inclination to follow trends and they're a bit more gullible when it comes to this. That's why a woman's not been made to be the wali of a woman who's going to get married, because she can be easy. Some nice handsome guy will come and talk very well, and she'll say, yeah, he's a nice guy, let's marry him, go ahead, marry him. While the father's gonna be like, wait a second, schmuck, I can see through your garbage, man. I know exactly what you're trying to do. Wait a second, wait, I need to advise, I need to see you a bit more, I need to go a bit deeper. That's how men are. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. So bottom line is, sisters, we're studying women around the Prophet. Good book, I recommend it, so we can understand. That doesn't mean everything here he says is perfect, or we'll scrutinize and identify everything. But bottom line is, it's important to you do your research. You ask yourself, how were the women around the Prophet ﷺ, especially the wives of the Prophet ﷺ? Today I read that there's, this warrior, Sahabiyat, who was this. Again, these were such small exceptions. It's like a needle in an ocean. But people highlight it because they want to make a point. Oh, this warrior Sahabiya, wherever the Prophet was looking, she was there. Okay, this happened. We're not denying it. But again, needle in the ocean. The Prophet would have said, wow, I think we need to have a regiment of women because this woman is amazing. So two things here. He would have said that if this is what this dawa mafia is trying to prove. Bottom line is, the Prophet would have said, well, this Sahabiya, she was so valiant and she fought so well and defended me and saved my life. And some other, 2-3 more that throughout the Seerah of the Prophet are highlighted. And of course, as I said again, it's literally like dipping, this needle in the ocean. That's how it is. Bottom line. So the Prophet said, hey, let's make a regiment of women, a unit of women, because they're so good at fighting. Let's train them now and incline them towards army. It will help us. And these guys are, not picking up their stuff, man. We're not able to beat the Quraysh. Let's get the women in to solve our problems. As many of the masajid and many organizations now, they think, hey, we'll just get the women and solve the problems. Problem is that actually more problems happen. Why? Because it's not their position. People get upset. Brother, but why? Brother. Because, yes, some women here and there have been there in the Seerah of the Prophet. Yes, some women contributed. But look at Salama. We just studied with Salama. Look at her wisdom. Why did the Prophet ﷺ love Salama so much? She had that maturity and that wisdom and that peace and that she gave. Look at the shura that he made with her. But was she part of the shura of the Sahaba? No, she wasn't. Prophet ﷺ could have been like, man, Salama is so wise. This is something I couldn't have figured out. This whole issue with the Treaty of Hudaybiyah and, shaving the head and not making umrah. So, therefore, she earned her place at the table with the Sahaba, with the Kibar Sahaba, with Umar Khattab, Abu Bakr. Salam will be sitting there and be like, brothers, this is what I think. As they do in masjid board meetings these days and so on, and they raise their voices and no. And they are the Ummahatul Mu'mineen. They are the example for any woman in this world. We looked at them. Look at what we studied. Different temperaments, different personalities, different ways, 100%. Not all of them are going to be the same. But look, what I'm pointing here, did the Prophet ﷺ tell Salama, hey, join the Shura Council? Advise the Sahaba, come on, be part of the public? No, he didn't. No. Did the Prophet ﷺ, this is my question to sisters who always highlight, same thing. Khadija was businesswoman, Hani, or I don't know, Nusayba, or this or that was a warrior woman, and this and that. The same women who highlight these things. Question yourself, why didn't the Prophet ﷺ create a special unit for women there? Why didn't he allow them to be part of the big army? Why didn't they have their own regiment, their own standard, and that they wore? Analyze all the battles of the Prophet ﷺ, and after him, Come on, let's be honest. That's it. Men have their job, women have their job. Men cannot do a woman's job. They cannot. And women cannot do a man's job. And this is what we're learning from the seerah of the Prophet. But people are fighting and trying to hurt themselves in denying the reality of what the Prophet ﷺ, he gave the gender roles. These exceptions that you find in the seerah of 2 or 3 or 4 sisters are not going to make the standard. They're not going to justify what liberal women and the dawa mafia are doing today in pushing women to destroy their haya and destroy their honor by being there and doing everything that men do. And in many cultures, this is happening. In many cultures, this is a big problem where women have lost their haya because they're head to head, foot to foot, shoulder to shoulder with the men in everything they do. And then they try to justify with 3 or 4 sahabiyat out of the hundreds of thousands of sahaba who met the Prophet and qualified sahaba. They justify with 3, 4, 5 different women that, oh, she did this, oh, she fought in this battle, oh, she was so valiant, oh, she was so brave, oh, she had a sword, oh, she cut this guy's head. Tayyib. So if she was so brave and so this and so that, and the Prophet really, really highlighted that and loved that, and he felt that she saved his life, why did he not ask her to be a general? Why did he not ask her to be a captain? Why did he not ask her to be a khalifa? Why did he not ask her to make an army of women? This is a question I believe every woman can answer to themselves and be honest to themselves when it comes to women around the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and what we are dealing with in today's world and the fitna of the battle between the sexes, between men and women. Now,